At the same time as the Donkey Kong cartoon was airing on Saturday's Supercade, there was another one based on Donkey Kong Jr. as well. I'd say they were tasked with a bit of difficulty when it came to coming up with the premise for this one. The Donkey Kong show starred Mario, Donkey Kong, and Pauline as the main trio, and expanded their dynamic from the game into one that could fit into a show. Donkey Kong Jr., the arcade game, unfortunately had a very similar trio to the one from Donkey Kong, keeping Mario and Donkey Kong but replacing Pauline with Donkey Kong Jr. The dynamic was a bit different, but given that this show was airing episodes the same day as the Donkey Kong show, it makes sense that they wouldn't want two shows to blend together too much. Because of this, they weren't left with much from the game to adapt into a show. Obviously, Junior is the main protagonist. Instead of being somebody to save, Donkey Kong is vaguely the goal to head towards during the show. This show is actually set at the exact same time as the Donkey Kong show, with Junior trying to follow his father's trail after he escapes from the circus and runs around the United States. Due to being a non-serialized cartoon, though, no progress is ever made towards this goal, nor does it feel like Junior is ever even remotely close to where his father is. It's a bunch of fake leads that don't go anywhere, and overall goal doesn't end up influencing what Junior does in the episode plots all that much. The personality of Junior is essentially just Scrappy-Doo. He even has his own puppy power catchphrase, which is, I guess it's better than Donkey Kong saying his own name, but if Junior ever has his own son, I hope his catchphrase is better. Maybe make it related to bananas or something. Junior has the benefit over Scrappy-Doo that there's nobody holding him back from just squaring up with the bad guys, and he usually showcases ridiculous feats of strength very casually. Junior can't be by himself though, so without the ability to pull Mario from his role in his other show, they decided to use Bones. You know Bones. From Saturday Supercade, Donkey Kong Jr.'s animated series released in 1983. There's two kinds of people in this world, those who know Bones and those who don't, and chances are you don't know who this is. Bones is an original character created for the show who has never appeared in anything ever again. He basically functions as Junior's sidekick, and his personality is somewhat close to Shaggy. He's a very big klutz who will usually try to do something impressive or try to skint against the bad guys, and he just ends up messing it up and making the situation worse. Junior insists on always referring to him as my best buddy Bones in a tone so sarcastic sounding that it sounds like Junior is completely joking about being friends with him. That's not to say that I think that's the actual intention. Junior clearly does care for Bones, it's just the delivery that makes it sound like it's sarcastic.
Wow, Bones, a perfect mud guy. My papa'd be proud.
So if you remember how I mentioned that the Donkey Kong show was made weaker by its bland villains and was at its best when it was focused on the main trio, well this show has no main trio, and the entire show is about Junior and Bones going against villains who are just as generic. They are the same type of villain as the Donkey Kong show too, same archetypes of small fat guy and big-nosed lanky guy who have a scheme. This time they don't need a Donkey Kong for their scheme, so the show usually kind of half fills the role by giving Bones and Junior a little buddy for each episode. Usually this is just some random kid who is inconvenienced by whatever the bad guy scheme is. The episodes usually have the villains steal something, Junior and Bones try to get it back, and while doing so, the kid is captured, so they have to follow the bad guy to a place where they could actually stop them. These sidekick kids are very much nothing and sometimes get only a couple lines of dialogue. The antagonists get to play off Junior and Bones more, but the fact that they're boring doesn't make that particularly interesting. That leaves the only interesting part of this show as Junior and Bones' dynamic, which is, come on. I like Bones, but also the main reason I like Bones is because nobody knows who Bones is. Their interactions are fun, but they're not enough to carry a show, especially when the episodes have nothing to distract from the boring villains. The show doesn't pull anything from Donkey Kong Jr. the arcade game besides Junior himself. There's no enemies from the game, and the only setting that might be taken from it is a jungle, but that's ironically the one episode that's currently lost media. I do think there's a sad undertone in this show when you look at the Donkey Kong show in comparison. In this, Junior is constantly searching for his dad and is stopping at nothing to find him, while in his own show, Donkey Kong is having the time of his life doing random nonsense and never even thinks about his son a single time. Perhaps not intentional, but it feels like very intentional child abandonment. There's not a whole lot else for me to say about the show as a whole. It definitely feels like a weak adaptation, and the only thing I'd really say I like about it is Bones. Unlike the Donkey Kong show, this one never got a second season, which means it's left with only 13 episodes total, so I'll get into those. Episode 1, Truck Napper Caper. Set in Texas, while at a truck stop, Junior and Bones meet a girl named Ginny, whose dad gets captured by some truck nappers. Junior and Bones go to their hideout and pretend to try and join their ranks, where Junior has to steal the truck of Turnpike Tex, which he does by arm wrestling him. Eventually, however, Bones ruins their scheme and they crush the bad guys to death and save the kidnapped truckers. Ginny's dad says that they were sent to prison, but there's no way they didn't die from this. Episode 2, Sheep Wrestle Hustle. While in the Arizona Wild West, Junior and Bones come across a sheep farm and meet a boy named Biff and his sheep herding dog. Three sheep rustlers show up and steal the dog, the sheep, and eventually Biff to go to an abandoned old west town. Junior tries to disguise himself as the ghost of an old Sheriff Doolin, but they eventually get captured. After the dog helps dig them out, Junior is able to stop a train just by pulling against it with a rope. The goons are then captured and the sheep is returned to the farm. Episode 3 Rocky Mountain Monkey Business. Junior and Bones are up in the Rocky Mountains, believing that Donkey Kong is nearby. They come across a group of nature scouts in the forest. Nearby, a recently escaped convict is with his bear, Bruno. They both used to be in a circus act together before the convict got arrested and he hid his loot in a cave near the forest. The layout of the rivers has changed a bit while he was in jail, so he kidnaps the scout leader to try and get information on where he left it. Junior and Bones try to help, but the convict ends up kidnapping the scouts too, and everyone ends up in the cave with the treasure. The cave begins to flood, but Junior stops the flooding and stops the captives. I actually like this one just because of Bruno acting as a foil to Junior, since they both have super strength compared to everybody else. Episode 4 Magnificent 7-Year-Olds. Junior and Bones hear rumors of Donkey Kong being around, but it turns out to just be a burger restaurant with an ape statue. While Junior is getting food, a kid in a bike race named Alan runs into him, and then two bike nappers named Mickey and Stretch steal Alan's bike. Bones and Junior end up retrieving it, but when they meet back with Alan's friends, their bikes were stolen too. Junior makes the kids go through an elaborate obstacle course to help them gain courage, and they confront the bike thieves by disguising Bones as an easily robbable old lady. In the end, they're defeated by Junior spinning a cement mixer barrel like a dreidel, and they're petrified. Episode 5 The Ventriloquist Caper. Unfortunately, episodes 5 and 6 are only partially available through an archived Gaelic dub, which I do not speak. I'll have to go off of guessing what the characters are saying and a little bit of help from the wiki to guess on these plots. Junior and Bones hear about a gorilla performing at a theater and assume it's Donkey Kong. When heading inside, they meet a ventriloquist named Dandy Andy and a boy named Peter Winson, who is not important at all. Two bad guys, Slick and Shorty, capture the ventriloquist and pose themselves as the new ones. During the show, they cut the lights and steal a bunch of jewelry from the audience. Junior and Bones follow them to another performance and stop them from stealing a diamond. In the end, the performing gorilla is just another random one unrelated to Donkey Kong. Episode 6 The Great Seal Steal. This is another episode that's only available in Gaelic, except this one has an incomplete archive, so parts of the episodes are missing. Junior and Bones end up in Oceanland, where they meet a woman named Belinda who's training two seals. A bad guy named Clyde and his accomplice capture one of the seals, so the heroes go to save it. The bad guys have access to devices that can be used to mind control animals, which they use on the seal and a shark. Partway through, I think the bad guys try to sell the seal to a foreign sultan on a ship, and Junior and Bones end up riding a shark to save a seal. Episode 7 The Jungle Boy Ploy. This is the only episode of the Junior show that isn't available and has been lost. Episode 8 Junior meets Kid Dynamo. In the town of Sweetville, Junior and Bones try to stop a gold reserve robbery being orchestrated by the evil Dr. Demise and his lackey Horace, but it ends with Bones falling from a building. Luckily, he is saved by Kid Dynamo, an actual real superhero with superpowers, who also has a talking dog named Lightning. Because they're superheroes, they have a backstory where 10 years prior, a magic blue meteor sprinkled space dust on them and gave them superpowers. Kid Dynamo, whose real name is Ricky, has somehow avoided letting his parents know he has superpowers somehow, even when he was a baby. Dr. Demise realizes the correlation between the meteor impact and Kid Dynamo's age, so he reverse engineers the dust to create a powder that undoes the superpowers. He captures Lightning and unsupers Kid Dynamo for like 5 seconds before Lightning reveals he has extra space dust on him. In the end, they stop the bad guys from doing a train robbery or something. Episode 9 The Amazing Roller Skate Race. The beginning has a duo leaving a zoo and saying they just met a regular gorilla, which I think would have been a better episode concept. The actual episode is them meeting a group of roller skaters who plan to enter a competition in Mexico City to get enough money to open their own personal clubhouse for skating. Two crooks plan to steal their skates because they have golden wheels. A lot of the episode is just slapstick during the race, where they're trying to simultaneously stop the bad guys as well as making sure the kids win the race. Junior ends up giving them the money they got from imprisoning the bad guys so they could buy the clubhouse. Episode 10 A Christmas Story. The best episode of the show. It's a Christmas special if the title didn't make it clear. On Christmas Eve, Junior and Bones go to a man named Mr. Anderson to see if he can help them fix their frozen motorbike. Mr. Anderson reveals that he's a helper of Santa Claus, and he has a toy-making machine to create toys Santa will pick up the next day on Christmas. Two hobos named Buzz and Waldo steal the toy machine and try to use it to create toys they could sell for money. Unfortunately, the machine only works for those who are good of heart, so it doesn't work on them. By the end, Junior saved their lives, and they have a change of heart, and help wrap presents for Santa and get presents of their own due to their good deed. This episode is good solely because the villains are given actual characterization, which is rare for Saturday Supercade. I don't even necessarily mean that just because they get a redemption. Even before that part of the episode, I think they just played off each other well and had more scenes to flesh out their characters than most previous episodes. Santa also appears at the end, and we'll see him a few more times throughout the franchise. Episode 11, Gorilla Ghost. This episode is kind of crazy, so it introduces Donkey Kong's brother, Uncle Julius. When Junior tries to visit him at the zookeeper, Aurora, says that they're closed. They sneak in and learn that all the animals are being stolen by a ghost gorilla overnight, so Junior agrees to help Julius out. After some hijinks, it's revealed it's actually a Scooby-Doo mystery, and the ghost gorilla is just a guy in a costume who's working with Aurora. They send all the animals to the mines, where they dig for gold to make them rich. I don't understand why they needed the one dude to dress up as a ghost gorilla, because the only witnesses would be the zoo animals you're already capturing, and they give up the shtick pretty quickly anyway. Also, Bones dresses as a monkey. Episode 12, The Teddy Bear Scare. Junior and Bones are working as babysitters for a girl named Patty to gather money to get back on the trail of Donkey Kong. They're at an amusement park, and Junior wins a teddy bear for Patty that happens to be filled with stolen money from two criminals named Walt and Harry. Cue lots of amusement park chicanery, where the criminals try to get the teddy bear back and then they kidnap Patty. There's a haunted house segment which kind of reminds me of the Donkey Kong coloring books.
All right, wise guys, you asked for it. Okay. I gotta work on that backflip.
Episode 13, Double or Nothing. Bones' cousin, Lucy Bell Jefferson, is in the will of their recently deceased grandfather. Junior and Bones go to visit, but Lucy is captured by two mysterious characters who are very obviously the other relatives, but the episode pretends is a mystery. If Lucy isn't at the will reading, she won't inherit the mansion, so Bones has to try to dress up and pretend to be her. Their grandfather also left a puzzle for Lucy to solve to prove it's her and not someone dressing up as her, so they need the real Lucy. Bones ends up getting captured, and the real Lucy is freed. Eventually, when the relatives are unmasked, it's revealed that the will also says that if Lucy can't solve the puzzle by midnight, the mansion automatically goes to the bad guys, which make the grandfather even worse. The solution to the puzzle was Rumpelstiltskin. And with those episodes done, this is the last time we'll ever see Bones, and the last time we'll see Donkey Kong Jr. in an animated adaptation. Only a couple more games left in 1983, so we should be escaping this year I've been stuck in for about 3 months now.